Well, here it is, winter in the deep mid-south. Temperatures getting down into the low 20s, spitting a little snow. We got a winter storm warning. Supposed to get a few inches of snow. And down this far south, when that happens, you've got to expect that there might be some extended power outages. So with that in mind, I went out and bought a Jenny today, and we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing on it and get ready for the cold power outage. I went out to Harbor Freight, purchased myself a Predator 4375 watt portable generator. I'm going to do a quick unboxing on it. All totaled, I think I'm into this for about 400 something bucks. So paid a little bit of a premium on it because I needed it now and I couldn't wait to catch it on a sale. So it's nicely packaged in the box. Looks like it's all set. I'm gonna pull it out and start seeing what kind of pieces need to go together on it to get it ready to go. So since this is such a heavy monster, I decided to surgically remove it from the box, save myself some strain. Looks like it's definitely going to be a two-person mover until I get a wheel kit for it and install that. All right, here's how it looks out of the box. Came with a couple of things. Looks like a little tool set, as well as a manual and a quick start guide, which is attached to the unit. So one of the things that came in the instruction manual kit was a altitude kit replacement, and it looks like that is for above 6,000 feet that you would need to figure out what you needed to do with this to make your unit run properly. Since I'm only about 200 or 300 foot above sea level, that does not apply to me. So I'm going to get right into the manual here. Just a quick overview. Looks like they have a separate sheet for that for installing that high altitude kit that they sent. So let's look at the manual, just a quick owner's guide run through. They have all of the precautionary things listed, as many manuals do in the beginning. Then they give us some specifications for the unit, some graphs that look like what's on the quick start guide as well. Let's take a quick look at these specifications, just so y'all know, if you're buying one, what the specs are for it. And then gives you a list of components and controls for the unit. And then another page on the high altitude running. So it must be a big deal when you're using this thing, especially at altitudes above 6,000 feet. This is a little guide on how to look at the oil and determine how much you have in it. One of the things while we're looking at this is I've heard complaints that this oil cap is in a very hard to get to place if you don't have the right kind of funnel. Let me show you that on the actual device. If you look at it just from the front view here, you see that yellow cap. That is where the oil is, and as you can see, it points out. It comes up at a small angle, but it's not going to give you enough to put a hard funnel into unless you tilt. What I've heard is if you tilt the unit up a little bit, then put the oil in it, that usually takes care of it. There's a little graph on cleaning and maintenance of it, as well as talking about engine oil change and air filter maintenance. So there are things that you have to do to this unit, even like your lawnmower. You have to keep it in service. To keep it in service, you have to maintenance it, right? Spark plug, long-term storage. It talks about what you need to do. And then lastly, if you're experiencing problems, they have a little troubleshooting sheet here to go through. So I'm going to get off the manual now and start looking at the unit itself. Just wanted to briefly go through that, because if you're like me, you're afraid you're going to lose your man card if you read the directions. So this may be all the exposure you get, right? They've included a small little tool kit to, it looks like mostly help you get your spark plug in place, and a little screwdriver to do any other things that requires a screwdriver. This quick start guide is probably going to be your friend, at least until you learn how to use this on a regular basis, if you do. So it's attached with a plastic tie right now. I'll probably get something like a keychain or something like that that'll hold it on better, because I might not be the only one using this, and that way I'll know that people that are using it have instructions. So you can see they're asking you to use 10W30 oil in the engine. And then here's the gas tank and some of the, tell you what to use. This is the top of the unit. I actually have some instructions stuck to this thing as well, so they definitely want you to, use it properly. Have some warnings, and then here's your feel for your gas to tell you how much gas you have in it and how much you have left. So I'm tilting it up a little so you can see the control panel, and it gives you good ahead of time notice if your oil's getting low, so that way you don't burn up your motor. So if that red thing is on or blinking, you need to take control of it. Then you have an on and off switch for the unit. Here's where you can plug in a cigarette lighter. Then there's a DC breaker, and it's where you can reset it. And then you have some AC breakers, and then a ground. And then you have a 120 volt, actually you got two 120 volt plugins with two plugins each on them, and they both have a reset here if you trip a breaker. And then finally you have a 240 volt plug-in as well, so looks like you can do some more powerful things with this unit. And here's a view under the control panel at the front side. You can see again where that oil fill is. I'll probably have it at this angle when I'm putting oil in it, and that way it'll be easier to get to. I did, while I'm having it leaned up here, I wanted to point out the motor mounts. I don't know how well you can see them with my poor video quality, but those motor mounts are on the other side as well, and that should take up some of the vibration from the motor running and keep this thing from running all over the top of your surface that you have it put on for usage. One of the side views where you can see it looks like some kind of exhaust process for the unit. I think that's the gas tank, and of course that's the motor side, or the generator side. So this must be kind of where the heat comes out. So this is the flip side of the unit, and you can see some of the guts. Looks like maybe an air filter, part of the some more of the engine. I believe this is where the spark plug is going to be serviced when needed. And of course there's your, I guess that's your clutch for the gas flow. So all this is on the side view of the unit. And here's the business end of the Jenny. It of course has this 212cc gasoline engine, and it's got the controls for the gas and flow. And I'll give you a little peek underneath how it goes into the back that we just saw. So we're outside now, ready to put the oil and gas into the unit. I've got a funnel for the oil, a long funnel that will help me get that oil into that tight fit that I showed you earlier. And also got a funnel for the gas so that I don't spill it all over the top of the unit. I might note that when tilting it to feel the oil, you also should set it back down flat before checking to see the level of the oil, so that you're getting a good reading on that. So as you can see from the levels I'm looking at, I put this thing on the highest filling of the oil. Might make a note here, be careful when you're screwing this checker in and out of the unit, because it would, I didn't do it, but it would be easy to cross thread this thing and make it your life a little more difficult when you're using it. So just take your time screwing it in. So now I'm gonna put this gas in here. I think it's a fairly large tank, so we'll see if it holds what I have. So this is rated about 5 gallon, I believe, tank. I put about 4, maybe 4.5 gallons in, and you can see where it came up to the bottom of the little plastic filter for the gas. And you can also see where the gauge is showing, you know, almost full. So that's all I'm going to put in to it right now. So next we'll go through the quick start instructions for cranking this up and just seeing if it works for us. Okay, gas check, oil check, ready to crank this up. So looks like what I need to do is choke to start, open fuel valve, switch to on, pull the handle, choke to run. So that's what I'm going to do. So first things first, choke it, and it looks right there. So if we come around to the side where the motor crank is, that's where the choke and the fuel stop is. And so it tells you, there's the choke right there, the little plastic thing, and it says move it to the left to start, or move it to the right to run. Pretty simple instructions. And if you slide on over here, you'll see the big gas tank on it. It says switch it to the left for off, and all the way to the as far as you can go to the right for on. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take this and just push it over here for choke, and then I'm going to switch this down. I said to the right earlier, but it's down to the left to turn the gas on. And so the next thing I should only have to do is pull the crank on it. Let's give it a whirl. Let's see if I can do it sitting down taking a video. I don't think I will. I feel like I'm getting any power to it. Oh, you know why? It's the first thing it said to do was to turn the switch to on. So let's do that. Boom. Hopefully that'll engage the spark plug and get this thing fired up. Here we go. Put up with that, right? That's what you can expect to hear as long as you're generating electricity. I hope you enjoyed this quick unboxing. Mainly wanted to get tell that bought them online. So they'll have a warm winter. Thank you for coming. Please